Hi, good morning. I'm Kristin Omdahl and welcome back to Create, Share, Inspire podcast. We are at my favorite raw juice bar this morning, which is right around the corner from Vanderbilt Beach. And the reason we're here is because the beach parking was full. I sat at the beach circling the lot a couple of times this morning and it just never emptied out in time, so I rushed here at the last minute to get here instead. Good morning, Lisa. If you're joining me live, please say hello. Let me know what you're crafting on this morning or if you have any questions for me. Hi, Melissa. Hi, Jamie, Sharon. Thanks for joining me live. I'm drinking a green smoothie. Hi, Lily. From my favorite raw juice bar called Delicious Raw. Thank you, Lisa. This is from the Amazon shop. This is one of the pretty tie-dye versions of that t-shirt weight cardigan. Hi, Kimberly and Elisa, Sharon, Naomi, Joe. Thanks for joining me live. Hi, Carmen. Hi, Gail. This particular spot is really unusual in the fact that the raw juice bar is on the corner of a plaza. So when I sit outside here, I could sit outside here in the middle of the hottest part of the day in the afternoon, and there's always a cross breeze, and it never gets too hot sitting here, which is so unusual for South Florida. But I'll show you. Here's the raw juice bar right here. And then I'm sitting in this giant outdoor pavilion area, not even pavilion, it's just part of the corner of the plaza, and they have a few tables set up out here, and I love to sit here when I can. And I preferred to go to the beach this morning, but the parking lot was full. The giant lot where like a parking garage doesn't open till 8, so I'm stuck at 7:30 in the morning with street parking, and there's only so many spots, and this is the first day of the season where it was just full and not moving. Hi, Edna. Hi, Carmen. Thanks for joining live. I think someone said they were working on a project in Be So Tender yarn. That's great. I missed part of it. Yep, snowbirds, I suppose, are coming back, and it's tough because I don't want to go back to Bonita Beach because the red tide's so bad there right now. So I really would prefer to stay at Vanderbilt, but Vanderbilt Beach is only easy for me to park at this time of year, or this time of day off season, so I'm kind of stuck between a rock and a hard place now. Hi, Karen. So we'll see how this pans out. Hi, Nikki. Thanks for joining live. So anyways, welcome to Delicious Raw, my favorite raw juice bar. So what a treat, I got to get a green juice. Yeah, Lily, as long as there's that much decomposing flesh there, I'm afraid of the bacteria that's airborne. So I realize that the toxic algae may not be dangerous for me because I'm not in the water, but all of those bugs and that horrible smell of the decomposing flesh is what's scaring me about the bacteria. I'm not sure how dangerous that is for me. That's one part of science that I'm not really that familiar with. So I think I'd rather err on the safe side. Somebody's here from Germany. Thanks for joining us live. It is a beautiful morning in Florida, Jane. Yes. Hi, Sherry. Okay, so what did I work on this weekend? I finished all of the projects for handmade gifts. I believe the magic number is going to be 80. So if all goes well, the book is going to be called 80 Handmade Gifts. And it'll be written out 80 for 80 and then handmade gifts. Won't that be a wonderful title? I'm so happy. So all the projects are done. I started the photography yesterday, which means I had to wipe out my dining room, set up a photo studio there, just fine. And it has to stay that way until I finish now, because once I set it up, I really want to keep things as consistent as possible so that the photography stays consistent through the book. It would have been better if I could have done it all in one shot, but life just doesn't work that way. Certainly not when you're wearing all the hats. So I got 50 of the 80 projects photographed last night. Got all of those photos put back onto my computer, did some minor editing of them, which means at some point I could drop them into the book layout and those pages could be done. Wow. And so I have 30 more projects to go, some of which I may already be photographed and on my computer from other times that I've made those projects. Yes, Grace, it is a lot of work. Thank you, Lily. Thank you, Edna. I am so excited. Hey, Miss Detroit is back. Good morning. We haven't seen you in a while. Welcome back. Hi, Carmen. Carmen, I hope it's the type of book that becomes a reference book where you can just pick it up and say, you know what? That gift would be great for this person right now. And I hope it's something that you'll always want to just pick up and flip through and say, you know what, that would be a perfect gift for this person. I can do it right now. Or this would be a great component to a gift that I've already bought for this person. Or this would be a good component for something I've already made for this person. So, oh, Miss Detroit has had a busy summer and with being a grandma. Okay. Elizabeth, oh, I'm so glad you're already feeling the vibe of the book. That's wonderful. Yeah, so I'm not thinking so much as, oh, this is just for this holiday season. I want it to be something that can be a reference book for any time you feel like someone needs a gift. What if there's somebody that just needs a pick-me-up gift in your life? Those are important too. It's not just holidays and birthdays, it's pick-me-up gifts. There's all sorts of reasons to give someone a gift. And put your good feelings and good thoughts into every stitch or every step of there. Will there be things that children can make with me? Yes. Yes, there will be things that kids can make with you too. Okay, so there's going to be a bunch of knitting projects, a bunch of crochet projects. There will be some food projects. There will be like food recipes. There's going to be some paper projects. There will be some sewing projects. Yes, all-purpose gifts, Grace, that's right. If they're not, you could theme them for different holidays depending on what you put with it, but they are not themed for holiday at the moment because I want everyone to have the ability to use them for any purpose. So we are getting closer on that one and I'm excited to tell you all that. So hopefully I'll have another progress update later this week. In the meantime, I remember last week we talked about color wheels and I told you I was going to buy two. No, Miss Detroit, I'm drinking a raw juice smoothie this morning from my favorite raw juice bar here in Naples called Delicious Raw. I believe has coconut manna, coconut yogurt, kale, spinach, dates, lime, and coconut water. But it's not very sweet. I don't like them really sweet. Really good. It's my second green drink of the day. I already had matcha tea this morning too. Okay, so we were talking about color wheels and I told you I was going to buy 2 of them on Amazon this weekend. I put both of them in my Amazon shop should you want them too. Only one of them arrived so far, but I figured we could talk about, see, is it going to show up on the camera? It's so bright here. What if we turn the camera a little bit? Okay, so here's the color wheel that did arrive today, and it has 2 sides to it, and at the very outside edge of the color wheel is the pure colors, okay? And so on this side, each color has the addition of white to show you what happens when you add white to any different color, and the color becomes lighter and lighter. Oh, good, Edna. Thanks for letting me know. It is visible and very clear. Okay, and then on this side, this shows you those same colors. So here is the pure color on the outside, and this is what happens when you add black to any color. I know we talked very briefly about this last week, but I just wanted to show you even more. It's really helpful to see all that. Now, what's even more awesome, and then it has all of the different terminology on here too. So the addition of white changes the tint of a color. So, and these are their terminology. I'm not 100% on it, and I'm not really well versed in the terminology, so I'm learning it to say it better right along with you. So on the side where they add white, they're calling it tint. So you would say that the tint of that color is lighter than the tint of that color. That's by the addition of adding white. Now when you add black, they're calling it tones and shades. So the tone or the shade of the color changes by the addition of black. Okay, there's so much that this little color wheel can do. Wait till you see what else we get to do on here. Okay, I'm going to read a section of the color wheel to you because I think it would be, instead of putting it in my own words, they say it so well on here. So I want to talk to you a little bit about color theory. And so on the side that has the tints, the addition or subtraction of white in a given color. Remember, you'd start with the pure color, and depending on how much white you add, it makes these tints. So color theory, there are only two ways to use color in any design project: contrast and harmony. Contrast is based on difference. Complementary colors such as red and green, meaning the opposite ends of the color wheel, have nothing in common. They are direct opposites on the color wheel and produce lively, attention-getting contrast. Harmony is based on likeness. Adjacent colors on the color wheel. You know adjacent because we talk about adjacent when we join motifs. Adjacent means the colors next to a color on the color wheel. So it would be for this color, it would be this one and this one. Adjacent colors on the color wheel, such as red, orange, and orange, are harmonious. There is red in all four colors. The likeness results in a pleasing harmony. We talked about that last week as well, when I talked to you about how sometimes when I'm dyeing yarns, I like to stick with this whole range, and I'll do different versions of the blues and greens across there, and I use so sometimes I prefer colors that are harmonious when I'm dyeing variegated yarns. Okay, this was another question that someone asked last week. What are the warm colors and what are the cool colors? So your red, oranges, and yellows are your warm colors, and your blue, greens, and purples are your cool colors. That makes sense? Okay, here's some of those definitions again. Hue is another name for color. So if someone says hue, they mean the actual color. Tint is any color plus the addition of white. Tone is any color plus the addition of gray. And shade is any color plus the addition of black. Okay, then when we go to the other side of the wheel, oh, and then if we look on here, let me read the other side first, because then once I do, all of these different holes and this sliding wheel is going to make so much more sense, and wait till you see what you can do then. Okay, so then here's the definition of the different color schemes. So this is the definition of the different ways that you can classically pick colors. Can you pick them on your own based on your heart? Yes. Your heart sings to you about different colors together? Yes. Can you pick colors from nature and pull your own palettes? Yes. But these are the actual parts of the color theory, and they are really legit ways to choose color when you're not so sure about your own confidence in picking colors. So this is still important too. So complementary colors are contrast. Two colors directly opposite on the color wheel. So that would be directly opposite would be red and green, or blue and yellow. Those would be complementary colors right across. Split complementary. Okay, split complementary. Here's where it gets a little more complicated, but you're going to love this. One key color plus the colors on either side of its complement. Okay, and they're giving the example of yellow with blue violet and red violet. So let's go to yellow. So now I'm going to scroll over here to yellow. Okay, so here's yellow. Okay, its opposite would be blue. Oh, that's not right. Let me see this again. I'm thinking that what they're saying is if they're saying the opposite of its contrast, the contrast for yellow is violet. So the colors on either side of violet would be blue violet and red violet. So they're saying that a split complementary would be, for example, yellow with blue violet and red violet. And I'll tell you, I think that's right. That looks beautiful. Let's try that with green. So if we're choosing green and we were going to do split complementary, we'd go with red, orange, and violet red. That's really interesting too. Sprinkle of Yarn has her mom's color wheel from the 70s. That's awesome. Okay, so if we were going to go with blue, we'd pick yellow, orange, and red, orange. Okay, so that's split complementary. That's taking your main color and choosing the contrast color opposite, but not that color, the color adjacent on either side of the contrast color. Does anybody have any questions about that? I don't want to go too fast because I think this is really exciting information. So I'll hold off for 1 second, see if anybody else wants another example before we get going. I'm glad you like it, Sherry. Moose Gal, well, the 80 items are not all hard, long, there are a lot of small projects. That's the key with this book. Nothing took a whole lot of time, and I've been working on this book behind the scenes, oh, I don't know, for a good part of the year. Plus, a lot of it just comes from my lifetime of experience of making handmade gifts. So it's something that's just been a part of my life for most of my adult life. Yeah, I think that would be great, Beatrice. Buy the color wheel and then watch the video together, and then you can be holding it and doing your own stuff. Yeah, let's do red. Okay, so red, the opposite of red is green. Okay, so the opposite of red is green. So for split complementary, we'd be going with blue, green, yellow, green, and red. And that's really pretty too. Imagine doing those three colors with white or with gray, where those are your contrast colors to a main neutral. The pop of, that's what I think that these schemes would be really amazing for, is when you're doing color work on a neutral background. So let's say you're doing an Afghan and you need a main color and 3 complementary colors, or you're doing like a sweater that has a colorful yoke. So you're doing the main body in a neutral, a cream, a taupe, a gray, a brown, whatever, and then, or black, and then these are your 3 colors to do that color work. I think that that's a great time to use split complementary colors. Definitely motif Afghans too. Okay, triad contrast. This is the one we talked about the other day, where I said it would be like picking the 3 spokes of like a peace sign. And let's see. So these are the colors that are equally spaced. So for example, if the primary colors would be our first start, which would be red, blue, and yellow, right? And then if we went to orange red, that would then turn us to orange red, blue violet, and green yellow. And if we go to orange, we've got orange, violet, and green. Those are pretty too. Yellow orange with red violet and blue green. Ooh, I really like those. Those are fun. And then orange yellow with red violet and blue green. Yeah, gray's a great background for pops of color like that. Absolutely. Okay, so then we go into the harmony colors. Remember we were talking about there's contrast combinations and then harmony combinations. Those are the 3 contrast combinations. Now we're going to talk about 3 different harmonious combinations. The first one is monochromatic, and it's described as a single color combined with its tints, tones, and shades. So that would be picking colors all on the same column, but tints, tones, and shades means that pure color mixed with white, gray, or black. So we've got, let's pick a primary to keep it nice and simple. So within the color of blue, to do a monochromatic combination with blue, you'd pick a blue with any tone that has the addition of white. The tones of blue are the additions of gray, the shades of blue are the additions of black, and then the tints of blue are the additions of white. So imagine doing that in color work. That would give you a gradient, right? That would give you that ombre look. That could be really, really beautiful. Or if you did all of that with a gray background, or with a black background. I really like monochromatic harmonious tones. And then I can't remember how to pronounce this word. Word. God, I've got my tongue is tied this morning. Analogous. Analogous? I'm sorry if I'm forgetting it. Okay, So from 3 to 5 adjacent hues on the color wheel, sharing a common color such as blue, violet, violet, red, violet, with the possible addition of blue, violet, violet, blue, and violet, red. Okay, so that would be picking, going this way. That would be picking colors this way, which is what we talked about yesterday. This is what I do sometimes when I'm dyeing yarn. This is one of the things that I like to do. And that would be picking colors that are adjacent to each other and picking 3 or 5 of them. And then there's analogous complementary, which is a harmony and contrast, which is 3 adjacent colors on the color wheel plus the complement of one of them. This is fun too, and this is another way that I dye yarn. You're going to recognize my secrets after this. Okay, so let's say you picked these 3 colors here, which reminds me very much of Ava's Isle d'Amour, one of the colorways that I love to dye, and look at it opposite yellow. Isn't that gorgeous? So imagine doing yellow or gold with these 3 colors, because it could be the opposite color of any one of them to make that work. So let's say we moved it over one, green yellow with those 3 is still beautiful. And then we'll move it to the here, there's the gold, orange yellow with those 3. So any one of those would work. Very interesting. That's a lot of information. Does anybody have any questions about that? As you think about that, we've just gone over the tips and tricks on the color wheel. You could spend hours combining all of this stuff. And think about this in terms of, coloring, in terms of painting, in terms of creating anything with color. It doesn't have to just be knitting or crochet or choosing yarn. It could be anything that you're combining colors on. Outfits. These are both on my Amazon page now. Yeah, I have 2 of them in my Amazon shop in the craft folder. And you can find this one, and there was one that's a little more basic than this one, and I bought both of them because what I really like is this sliding wheel. I wanted to be able to do, yes, home decor, absolutely, this is going to be so helpful for that. There's so much information on here, more than it seems like. So like to just look at this, you go, okay, I can see the colors and I can slide it, but once you really read all of the information and really comprehend it and apply it to looking at the colors around the wheel on both sides. Good morning. There's just a ton of information that you can apply to all parts of your life. Your quilts, yes, Jane, yes. In choosing fabric for your quilts, choosing the design of your quilts, absolutely. So for your wardrobe, for your store-bought clothes, for your knit and crochet clothes, for your yarn, how to combine your clothes from the store and your handmade clothes, how to combine your jewelry and your accessories with your clothes, how to choose your furniture and your wall paint and your accessories and all your home decor or your DIY decor and all your other crafts, your painting, your quilting, jewelry making, all of it. This is important information for anybody who's DIYing anything. Gardening, floral design, yes. Think about this in terms of putting together a floral, what do you call it? What do you call it when you put flowers in a vase? There's an art and craft to that too. Coloring hair, yes, absolutely. Yeah, gardening too, because designing your garden, I think that's a wonderful idea, or any of your landscaping outdoors. But I was thinking about, there's classes on it, how to arrange flowers, arrangements, yes. This is really good information for that too. Flower arrangements, yes, absolutely. I absolutely love arranging flowers. It's something that I love. Floral design, that's another great word for it. Thanks, guys. I love floral design, and I love thinking about what colors go together. So with floral design, it's so much more complicated than that even, because then you've got your color and your texture and your scale. So much fun. Sherry used to own a florist shop. That's so nice. Lisa's mom did too. Yeah, I love floral design. Love it. So I think this would be a fun way to be able to have more confidence when you're choosing anything to go together. Local floral shop, that's wonderful. See, I feel like that's like the classic thing to be in a Hallmark movie, a floral shop owner, a florist shop owner, isn't it? And Lisa's mom did it all. So it sounds like you got a lot of inspiration from a creative mother. That's wonderful. Oh, and Nikki's mom helps her with her color issues too. That's great. It sounds like a crazy life. Kim wants to know if I've ever thought about doing speckled yarn. Funny that you should ask that. Speckling yarn has been something that's working really well for me with animal fiber. So the two new, oh yes, this has avocado in it too, I forgot to mention that. The two new yarns that I'm dyeing, the superwash merino wool blended with bamboo. It's like a 65-35 blend. So fuzzy and soft and warm. I'm doing it in worsted weight and fingering weight, and the colors that I'm dyeing in those yarns do have some speckling. So for those of you that love speckled yarn, my two new yarns that will be coming out in the next few weeks are both going to be speckled. It's just worked really well for them to get speckled with the technique that I'm using for dyeing them. Colors are good for happiness, I agree. I wonder, yeah, I think there's such a thing as color therapy, isn't there? Oh, thanks, Kim. I'm excited that you're excited. Lily's excited too. Yay! Thank you, Sherry. Yeah, so I'm just trying to finalize the names on both of them, and I've got a good portion of the worsted weight dyed. I'll have to dye the fingering weight too. There's music in the pavilion where I'm sitting, Edna. A little bit of elevator music. It is relaxing. I think there's a saxophone on right now. Joanna needs more color in her life. Yes. Sherry wants to know if I always wear 3 colors. I don't know. I don't know. I usually try to wear more than 1 color. But I love color theory and I love experimenting with color. The older I get, the more adventurous I become with color. I usually try to coordinate my nail polish with where I think I'm going to be for a while. I always try to coordinate my lipstick with whatever I'm wearing. Sometimes eye makeup too, depending on how much eye makeup I wear. Today I just have mascara on. I figure that goes with anything. But I either try to make sure that my core outfit is either solid so that I can do prints or colors for accessories, or I do the inverse of that. And I try to keep my shoes neutral most of the time. Thanks, Julie. I'm glad you're excited about new colors. Oh, hi, Abby. Karen's cat Abby's watching. That's so sweet. So right now my push is to get finished with 80 handmade gifts. Yay, we have a title. And as soon as I get that more solidified, then I can go back to finishing dyeing the yarn. And I think these yarns are going to be fantastic for cozy cowls and hats and scarves and mitts and things like that. Joanna wears mostly solid neutrals. Well, when you're ready to experiment with color, Joanna, that's a great place to begin. Because you wear solid neutrals, they make great backgrounds for any color. So you're going to be all set for when you're ready to experiment. Does anybody have any other questions about color theory? Lily loves bright colors. Me too. Oh, that's so sweet. I was hoping her ears would perk up when I said Abby. That's great. Well, Joanna, like I said, you're in a perfect position to start, because any color you choose, any color that sings to you, will be a great accessory on solid neutrals. It's a great, great place to begin. Does anybody have any other questions? Doesn't look like it. Oh my gosh, yes, Sherry. Muted colors with bright colors, absolutely. Definitely. Yep. I think that's a beautiful contrast. It's great to see you too, Miss Detroit. I think about you often. I've been wondering what happened to you. So glad to see you again. Grace, I'm so glad you enjoyed this morning's tutorial. So now that I have the wheel, whenever anything comes up about color, I can have it handy so that we can even discuss it further with real life applications. Oh, like I could have discussed it regarding my jacket this morning. So whenever we think of Devesh, I'm at my local raw juice bar because there was no parking at the beach this morning, and this raw juice bar is like 5 minutes from where I was trying to park at the beach, so that was a fun place to show you because this is one of my favorite spots to come and get a raw juice. All right, well, we are out of time, so let's take this last minute to think about our day, set our intentions, and think about what we're going to be crafty about today. I hope you all have a wonderfully crafty day. Thanks so much for taking time out of your busy day to spend a few minutes with me. I hope you enjoyed chatting with me and everyone else. Let us make time to create, share, and inspire today and every day. I'll see you all tomorrow. Bye.